Are you serious? Are you serious, guys? Yes, we talked about this a little bit last night. We're talking about a little bit more in depth now. The red heifer Sabbath, the red heifer Shabbat. It's been set aside, but boy, it is March 29th and 30th. Will this be? Will this be the time of the sacrifice of the red heifer for the dedication of the third temple? Let me tell you what has developed. But first, let me put a quick shout out for reducemyfuel.com. That's reducemyfuel.com. Drivers have been warned of rising fuel costs due to a surge in global oil prices. More cars are on the road as winter weather has thawed. And that is why tens of thousands of drivers are beating the greedy oil companies by spending less at the pump, all thanks to this amazing little device right here. This little device that you actually put into your car or your truck. And there's a place in your car and truck. Every vehicle made since 1996, this location is in the truck. And so you can reduce the fuel consumption by 35% with this amazing little device. It is an intelligent fuel-saving device that easily installs and helps to reprogram your vehicle to lower fuel consumption. Experience the incredible cost savings that it offers with a 50% off the price by simply clicking on the link below in the description. ReduceMyFuel.com. That's ReduceMyFuel.com. And I'm telling you, get on that one, all right? Please. Oh, and by the way, let's talk about this red heifer. Last night's broadcast was powerful on the 3 days of darkness. And, of course, bringing that up because it did happen in the book of Exodus of the 10 plagues of Egypt. It was plague number 9, and God was preparing for the releasing, for setting free his people from Egypt. How close are we to the setting free of the body of Christ from this lowland of sorrow into the heavenly Canaan we're going to that brand new city that God has prepared for those that love him, who have been born again. So who knows? We don't know when that 3 days of darkness it could happen again. It could be this solar eclipse coming April 8th, but I doubt it. But they didn't know it was going to happen when it happened in Egypt. No one knew. It was unscheduled, unprepared. It's a sign in the heavens. We're going to keep an eye on it. There's another sign. The building of the third temple must come with the sacrifice of a red heifer, not just any red heifer either. It has to be a red heifer that is pure, with no spots or blemishes. The hair on the cow has to be perfect. No black hairs, no white hairs, but an absolute pure heifer. Now, they've been looking for this. They did the red heifer sacrifice. Has been done 9 times in history. And it was vital that it was done. But the last time it was done, it was to dedicate the second temple, and it hasn't been done since then. So it's been over 2,000 years. They have since the temple was destroyed in 70 A.D. It has never been done again. Now Israel, who's been a nation getting ready to celebrate its 76th birthday, this nation is getting prepared for the building of the third temple, and that's why you see the wars and rumors of wars and the different things that are taking place. Are you serious? This is where we're at in prophecy. Let me tell you a little bit more about this red heifer. The red heifer is a female bovine cow which has never been pregnant, nor milked, nor yoked, and it's also known as the red cow or the red heifer. The heifer is brought to the priest as a sacrifice according to the Torah, and its ashes are used for the ritual purification of corpse uncleanliness, that is, and if an Israeli has come in contact with a human corpse, human bone, or a grave. Now, also, it's used for the dedication of the temple, and the ashes are also used for the purification of the priest when they go in to do the priestly ceremonies on behalf of the people. Now, the red heifer offering instructions are described how it is to be done in the Bible, in the book of Numbers, chapter 19. In the Torah, the children of Israel were commanded to obtain a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came a yoke. The heifer is then to be slaughtered, burned outside the camp, using cedar wood and hyssop, wool, or some type of dyed scarlet yarn are added to the fire, and the remaining ashes are placed in a vessel containing pure water. In order to purify a person who has become ritually contaminated by contact with a corpse, water is also from the vessel for sprinkling on him, using a bunch of hyssops on the third and the seventh day of the purification process. The priest who performs this ritual then becomes ritually impure, and then he must wash himself and his clothes in living waters. He is deemed impure until the evening of that same day. This is a very important moment. Now, they've been looking for a pure red heifer for some time now because they know they're getting ready to build the third temple. Once they do this ritual, they can then keep the ashes in this container or this box or some type of container and wait till the building of the third temple to use those ashes. So they don't have to immediately go do it, but they got to get first. You got to get the red heifer. You got to get one that qualifies. Now, so it's believed that they will do this sacrifice over near the Mount of Olives, so that the heifer and the priest would not come in contact with any graves. But according to some ceremonies of the burning of red heifer took place on the Mount of Olives, which is a ritually pure. Cohen slaughters the heifer and sprinkles its blood in the direction of the temple 7 times. The red heifer was then burned on the altar together with crimson dyed wool, hyssop, and cedar wood. Okay, now let's talk about why and how close we are to this moment. Now, Mike from Around the World was on with me last Thursday, and I don't know what he was referring to, but the Thursday before, actually on one of his podcasts, I believe on the 19th of February, he said that something was going to happen in 40 days. An incredible event was going to happen in 40 days. Well, Israel Hall started doing some serious research and found out that 40 days from the day that Mike said that was March the 29th and March 30th, which is a Sabbath. And March 29th, that evening, begins the Sabbath. But it isn't just any Sabbath. It's called the Red Heifer Shabbat, the Red Heifer Sabbath. It would be the time every year set aside for, is this the time to sacrifice a red heifer? That was exactly 40 days from when Mike from Around the World said it. Now, we don't know if that's what Mike was referring to. I'm going to ask him this Thursday night on our live broadcast, and I want you to be present during that program to see if this may have been what he was referring to. Now, the Temple Institute, and I've been there 3 times on Mount Zion, and I've met with the Temple Institute people. The organization dedicated to preparing the reconstruction of the Third Temple in Jerusalem. It has been attempting to identify a red heifer candidate consistent with the requirements of the Bible in Numbers chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. And in recent years, the Institute thought to have identified 2 candidates. Okay, one was in 1997. Another red heifer was discovered in the year 2002. But the Temple Institute had initially declared both of these red heifers are kosher, but later found that there was some unsuitable blemishes, and thus they could not be sacrificed. The Institute has been raising funds in order to use modern technology, maybe to help produce a red heifer that is genetically based on the red Angus. And in September of 2018, the Temple Institute announced they found a red heifer candidate. And it was born, and they said the heifer is currently a viable candidate. We will examine it, whether it possesses the necessary qualifications to be the red heifer. but in September of 2022. But then, as they watched that red heifer grow, it became unqualified. But in September of 2022, 5 red cows, 5 red heifers were found in a farm in Texas in the United States. Those 5 cows were imported from United States into Israel and transferred to a breeding farm in Israel. And according to the rabbis who were accompanying the process, all 5 of these cows are kosher for sacrifice. Now, since that discovery, and I've covered that, I've talked about that, I've discussed it with Yehuda Glick, Rabbi Yehuda Glick. I've discussed it with, I used to talk about it a lot with Dr. Irvin Baxter. Of course, he died, Irvin Baxter died on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020. But he kept saying, Paul, when it finally happens, you better get ready because the coming of the Lord is near. Well, these heifers, out of the 5 that they chose, one of them has become disqualified, but 4 of them still are qualified. And we're now closing in on the date of March 29th and 30th. Folks, there's 4 of them that are candidates. Now, we're only, we're less than 40 days away. We're closing in. I would say that at least one of them will remain kosher right up to the moment. And so this is maybe this is what Mike from around the world was talking about when he said something big is going to happen in 40 days. I asked him last Thursday, can you tell us what that is? He gave me an emphatic no. Okay. But I'm going to ask him again this Thursday because I'm going to ask him, say, look, this is what we've discovered. This is what we found out. This is what's going to happen. It's potentially going to take place that day. Is this what you were talking about that was going to take place, a major event that could affect the whole world reaction? Is this what you're talking about? Let's wait and see what Mike says. But no matter what Mike says, okay, whether he says, yeah, that's what I was talking about or not, the event itself, if it happens, will be the most important biblical milestone that we will have witnessed on this earth since the rebirth of Israel as a nation on May 14th, 1948. This is a huge prophetic moment. We're going to keep our eyes on this and keep the watch going. We're really, 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 so prepare yourself for this. Prepare for this, guys, because this is a prophetic moment. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We are truly living in the last days. Help me celebrate 14 years here on YouTube. 14 years on YouTube. March the 1st, this coming Friday. It's a free will offering. We do this every year. Help us. We need your help as we continue to push forward, bringing you this powerful broadcasting, not only on YouTube, but other social media platforms and on television, and with all the work we do, meeting you out there, preaching in conferences, traveling throughout the nation and the world, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you will celebrate with me, would you pray and ask the Lord to tell you what you should give on that day? And if this broadcast, if this ministry online has been a blessing to you in any way, your love gift to celebrate with us, help us have a huge, successful day, Friday, March the 1st. Help us. You can start now by going to our website at paulbegleyprophecy.com, or you can pick up the phone and call if you want to call in an offering at 765-414-2230. Or you can send a check or money order in the mail, put it in the mail now if you want to, and send it to the address below. We want you to come and be a part of this celebration in Jesus' precious name. Many people got saved last night on our Sunday night broadcast. We're so excited about that as people are coming to Jesus. We're in the end times, guys. We're in the end times. God bless. Are you saved?